Delta Maina Gajilas, Junze Pusum Punzon Jorvetsista, de Belonge, Ani Yondigala Careon Gorzana, Ani Majalche, Yakpa, Tepache Hindu, Roa Majins. Dinangaji zeta da mang chedre gaji sia ke omar da mang chedre ngarang su sunejina toso jorwa ji toso yo ani pe toso yenden de yonde gala ani pe tekpa nga gyal kengba ti churu gya da gya gya tambare ta chanju gi senda sewa ni jela ngoni chumi ni nyoma tende gi tende jina ko korwala nyingbo me ba tongde ne zu kaga jina mata te mato korwala jempa gyun mala korwa tangdo lengenjila ta tetu twinken zuri chagora mala den galkin gyun shergi korang yo mare ngagal ke pa tekpa singde oda ki majingsi lusim ki tando dungal junzen jovechi se jumjing sem jumre oda tendigi midela ta ko korwala gyun mata korwa de dizi 차당 모습인데 아니 배 차견 소리진 통해민들라 르셈나 아니 배 기네 기세 매비 기부제네 배즉 배셔라 또 스톱디가라 시우지 총자진 웅엔들의 용도와 기네 기세 매 기마다 이 용도와 아니 누나 누즈메 배 땅에 게임 삼마르게 전삼마르 삼삼비 어떻게 용도를 쓰면 샘줌신스 이체 소시스데 샘지 소시 샘나타 에테 배 타블럼 균임 메르선지 통과래 왜 유루비 켄도 소마 마이인스 델터 미체퍼 기나 기타 어다 루나 루타 루 테바지 괴숨바타 다오 다 데터마이나 시디가라 다 때기 공도 주주나 진짜 오니 korwala 견도다 장주기 승기 파연도 덴데기 가사지라 다 저와지 땅 민지나 시라기 다 그렇지니래 시라기 배 디어 말에 삼삼지 닝부여 말에 삼삼지 누나 개왕함에 레긴 내민지 다들 제파레 아부중서로 가서게 아마도 더는 눈알기 배 때가라 눈알 냄비 용야 매가시 잘거 아니 우시네 기네 기타 세드가라 기나 가서 때 디마이 맞지 기부존에 때 개왕함에 소남 사브르테 레긴 디부르테 아부중으로 삼삼지 마도 티 세메기 배 가서게 무중게 된데 용거 말 딘데라 맞아 다다디 다다 내가 던디면나 가서 니부 간주서 버자 시야데 어디 다다 띄운 거래 가르쳐 니부 간주서 버자 쓰니까 기 용디가라 다 야브레 띵모네 미기 개왕하면 랑가 소남사에 띠미부래 야보 중에 다디 즉 추수스 마다지네 배저 당사들라 배 담년다다 텐데 마선에 배저 장사질 당야 아니 기부 중서나 다 누부 중나 어떻게 야부주래 여왕함이 레기 남인데 미텐레 민바레 빼 야부주 띠냐비 띠레 민나 세르모 룽알 딜지고사 딘시카 민발레 탄다 민바 빼 야부주 세르가라 직도아 어다 누나 누타 과에 꼬바야리 어다 투스 딘들라 시부지 개침본 맹아 자침보레 준준나나 송구도와 미치기랑라 윤된 저구였나 아니 빼 윤된 줘야 돼. 나 윤된 된지 여설 삼삼지 제대 배 나갈다 킹빅 유 마상하지는 윤된 시바 야보르스데 파 벽이 파주고 있던 윤된 라 나빠져야 왔다도 삼다나 된지 수도 안 돼서 간간 되어도 와 왔다도 집에 있나 대마도 제 인지니어 존리 닥터 존리 제답에 윤된 전부 윤된인지라 맞았지 다 말결 용인질 가셔지는 고향 토론도 아니가요. 다 된데 많이 봐야 돼. 과 연데 이 된데 연den도 통하도 야보르스디가라 소소 말결 이거 만라지 파족이 연된 다용도 소 야보도 와 공부하셔야 돼서 미스바 디님보도와 어다 되게 뭐네 나란주다 전주세베 랍자 레레데 소수기 냠렌직이나 셈네 펜보 아니 소수 직파기 상배연된지난다 남배네 배 디부지 좋아해난다 데라 남배 디부데 리스와 잡으면 되니 상배연된지나 미리 유민족에 어떻게 수용해야 해 되나 오늘 미지 돈달는 바 진인구 쳐봐 미제네 배 푸다 쳐비다 오늘 미제 디키 두야기 다들이 이사람만은 딘 추운 거라 드시면 오늘 랍자 야보도 왔어 온자로 야 디지기나 디소 오늘 누가
Continue with the page 83. Those who cannot see the point of this due to their having a little wealth are in many cases governed by pride, arrogance, and disdain. They encounter even the slightest mental or physical trouble, they become discouraged, despondent. We are taught not to behave like this, but to be undisturbed, whether we encounter happiness or suffering. So those who cannot see the point of this, in the Tibetan text, those which in English translated are those, in Tibetan it says, literally it is several of those, but Geshe-la is saying that probably we should say most of those, so most of the people, those which in fact are having a not understanding what we mentioned before, that is not understanding, the nature of cyclic existence, not having any understanding of altruistic mind, love, compassion, all we mentioned before, then those people who cannot see this kind of point, understanding, so they will have this kind of experiences. So when they have when they obtain even kind of little wealth, or the wealth here refers to the objects of desire. The object of desire could be wealth, could be status, could be famous, could be property, could be many things. And when they have those, which someone mentioned here, when they have a little of those, then they can be easily kind of influenced negatively, and the impact they will have is they have arrogance, pride in what they have, and not only that, when they encounter even the slightest problem, they don't know how to deal with those problems. They become totally discouraged, totally despondent, in a sense that they don't see any way to cope with this kind of problem, and becoming kind of totally kind of as mentioned here, defeatist, defeated. We are taught not to behave like this, but to be undisturbed whether we encounter happiness or suffering. So we are here taught not to behave like this. We here refers to those people who have some understanding of as we mentioned before, the nature of cyclic existence. For us, how can we deal with this kind of when we encounter mental or physical trouble? How can we deal with this? It says we shouldn't be getting disturbed by this kind of physical or mental trouble. Stay kind of stable, able to stay stable, not disturbed. And here, this is exactly the same point that we see in the root text, 7-point mind training. We see, this is directly related to the whichever occurs, be patient with both. This is the root, from the root text. Whichever occurs, be patient with both. Whichever here, whichever occurs, be patient with both. Both here refers to two kind of extreme emotions, because we do see people kind of when they experience something good, happiness, they become extremely kind of carried on by such kind of happiness and joy, and when they on the other hand, when they experience difficulties, physical as well as mental, again they're kind of carried on and fall under extreme kind of impact. So here the practice is that we shouldn't be able to kind of influence, have that kind of impact, extreme kind of result from extreme happiness or so. It shouldn't be that kind of fluctuation within us. And so the proper understanding, the how we deal with this is, as I mentioned again in the previous part, when we face when we encounter wealth or fame or status, or one's responses should be it is good that I have attained all of this, and it is great. So now how can I further use these things into a better purpose, in a more meaningful way, benefiting others, and not totally kind of getting so excited and so kind of happy, and therefore might be misusing it. And when we encounter suffering, we again get here kind of totally disturbed. We won't be becoming, as mentioned before, discouraged. We look at the situation and really kind of understand it. This happens, and this is the natural process in the cyclic existence. We face problems, difficulties, and in fact, it is good that I have experienced. While I am in a human state, being a human, I have all kind of ways, intelligence, facilities to deal with the problem and solve it in a good way. Otherwise, if I face the same karmic result in lower rebirths, such as maybe hell or animal, I won't have such kind of facilities. So therefore, when facing a problem, instead of becoming discouraged, despondent, and defeatist, you embrace it and you kind of not get disturbed by it. And so that's how we deal with kind of suffering, physical or mental problem. And and we see a same kind of advice given in Shantideva's text, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. For example, he talks about when somebody appreciates you, when somebody praises you, your response should be, Shantideva talks about, that individual is really kind of understanding my my behavior, my practice, my activity. So it is good that he is understanding in a good way, but at the same time, you don't get carried on by the praises and appreciation. And otherwise, there is a false, once you appreciate somebody who is in fact highly educated, with high status, with wealth. When you appreciate those people might because of appreciation have a feeling of, as mentioned before, arrogance, pride, and therefore causing more kind of problems or negative mentality. So there's always risk there. So these kind of advices that we see here, and also in Shantideva's books, are advices that is really kind of beneficial, helpful ways of attitude to make our life meaningful, to make our life more kind of happier. And these are the very kind of foundational advices that are very important, and important advices and guidances. Yes. So we said we will stop here for today, and if you have questions, maybe a couple of questions. If not, we'll stop here. Yeah.
In the book, it say that you should purify the misdeed which will cause suffering in the future by application of the four powers. Is that a four noble truth?
Sasna nyembushi tianguri nyembushi di nyembushi di relo to.
Dembashi marheswa. Nyembu top jizer ta nyepala lardo beto. Ta migewa kyon thongone tele minju yake samtane. Chinje teni chigme sambai samlu chiku ware. Ani kare nyepala lardo beto tengi to ke kemro semkere. Kemro ta nangba indala tengi te kemro ta semke. Te ingoya de kemro semke tengi to ingoya de gyuzende mone keche bore. Ngarazu 미개가 지야 돼. 마 섬전에 때니 녀바치 사과래. 야 초숨을 마대보고니 내니 녀바치 사과래. 뒤인디가라 간지 말아서 사리 정말 살았더니 야 랑과 나신지니 녀바스 깡라 사베 질었더니 맞아 사상 제거해 차거래. 뒤인디가라 아니 배 샘게되기 마 섬전에 때베 아니 녀바다 장 아니 겜로되기 아니 야 상길라 마대베 아니 초숨라 니베 고토발라서바 땡디기 아니 베예 녀바다 장제 아니 겜로 섬게 땡기도 인다데 때리지 겜로 섬게 땡기 톱지 아니 님북군이 저 톱스디가라 소소에 니베 고라타기나 차체기나다 이야사기나다 다 이렇게 와 가르쳐 되기디 님북군이 저 톱란도 와지고 와래 아니 겨슴 고와래 겨베면은 샤베 미다베스 에 가래 지메레리 리 부체데 겨바면은 미다 스스무도 와 오다 또 수인들가라 오네 따다 자베두기 에니 자면 되면 나라 겨바면은 샤베 미다베 스스무도 와 오다 되게 지게 배쇼 깨점버래 또 지스데 또 수레 당라서가 가래 제나 미게와 자야기 다 합람 남아서는 풀도 좋아돼 삭장자 상이 태용 그래 삭 장해야 돼 미거와 장해야 돼 님부터 비고네 답이 미거 다 답지야지요 다 대충
those four powerful antidotes are, not four noble truths, but those, if I just read we call four opponent forces or four strong antidotes. The first one is the force of reliance. Force of reliance, and second, the force of overcoming misdeeds through antidotes. Overcoming misdeeds through antidote, and then third is force of repentance, and then fourth, a force of not repeating the misdeeds. So the first one is, the important here, force of reliance. The force of reliance here refers to reliance on, the object of refuge and altruism. Object of refuge, because when we look at the how we create negative activities, it is created usually based on two foundation. The one is negative activities related with the higher three object of refuge, not showing proper respects or not having a reverence, and therefore object of refuge is the reliance that you use to purify all negativities that is related with the three object of refuge and higher object. And then on the other hand, we have this sentient beings, because of looking down upon others, being kind of harming others, we create all negative activities related with others. So to purify those, we have reliance of altruism or awakening mind or bodhicitta, and force of overcoming through misdeed through antidotes. So the applying antidotes that could be such as prostrations or reciting mantras or many different ways of applications of different antidotes, and force of repentance. Repentance here, without having a sense of regret or repentance, you cannot purify through confession alone. We find such as Zapeju, in his text that without the same one, without remorse, without repentance, confession won't does the purification. So one has to have a strong feeling of remorse, regret, in order to make purification or confession, antidote. And then the force of
mi tujenji ze mi sungrizana shitaraji ze de zabe genji miji nade yachi miji tana namena nam mana gadnada ta pe tu de zabe njoba tu kono so njoba kaniji ki dina je ngaranzo di padala kyondo tane dina ji di njoba guaresi.
And the level or the intensity of the regret or remorse, we usually use this example, the intensity. For example, there are three person, and all of them have taken a poison, and the first one is already dead. The second one is on the process of dying, and the third one is waiting now, kind of, and you can see how much he will have a regret of taking that poison, and that kind of intensity of sense of regret is needed in order to make purification a real purification. And then the fourth of not repeating the mistake. Basically, this is a commitment that once you have realized that you have done something negative, and making a commitment that I'm not going to do this same thing again, not kind of no repetition. So these are the four opponents.
진짜는 예발 민주야. 아니 지금에 시리갈 답에 로드 톱 첨부처럼 지마니 빼 티글 내가 렘나 카투에 이거래. 예발 라르도 톱 시리갈 아니 진짜 아니 미쳤는데. 톰슨데 쉽게 첨부래.
So the commitment of not doing it again, this is a very strong, again, powerful thought, and it will help. For example, when you encounter the same kind of circumstances or conditions where you might have to repeat the same thing again, and this kind of thought will really kind of serve as a kind of obstacle and a barrier that it will make you now, I'm not going to do it again. So it is kind of powerful, or another forces.
Yeah. Kari rave kurve shingam de pendan dewa mali juwe ne chere se wan tenzin gyatsu shabe se de parto tengyurchi jamba pawe jidara kemba dan kondo sambo de an de shin de da kunge jesu dalo je kyawa de la tamje rabdo Tuzum shabe jawa tamze ge ngwa kangla chudu ngaba de dajin gewe zawa de gunja zambo cheje rabdo ngwaragi. In the land and the circle of our snow-white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits, flows in your person, generously attains in God, to remain in gentle samsara, and just as the bodhisattva Manjushri attain omniscience in Samandabhaja too. So now I dedicate these mayas to train and follow in their footsteps. As all the virtuous Buddhas of past, present, and future praise dedication to Supreme. So now I do dedicate these source of my merit for means to perfect gratitude.